How long it's been in my bag.
Thank you.
Can you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Tonight is Tuesday, September 10th. It's a little after 7:30. We just came from executive session where we discussed non-union compensation. The first item on our agenda is a public hearing on a proposed local law amending Chapter 6, Section 10C2 of the Village Code regarding capital improvements in Bellefair middle-income units. I think we start by just, can I have a motion second, please, to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Chris, a little
summarize it?
background, please?
Yes, absolutely. So when the Bellefair, we have 12 units, they're called middle-income units at Bellefair that are regulated by Village Code. The eligibility to purchase the units and also the price of the units are all defined by local law in the Village Code. And so in order to be qualified, the people in the priority one category, which is what it's always been, has either a full-time employee of either the Blind Brook School District or the Portchester School District, or an employee, full-time employee of the Village of Rybrook. As part of that process, in addition to the selling price, over time, units need, people do work in the units, whether it be interior or exterior. Interior work, there's a maximum amount that when somebody goes to sell, if they've upgraded a kitchen or done certain improvements, a portion of those funds can be recovered by adding that price, the amount, to the selling price. And that's with assistance of a not-for-profit group called the Housing Action Council that helps us through that process. Tonight's local law has to do with exterior improvements, and this is something also the unit owners asked the village to consider as well. And what this does is, right now, it says, the code reads that you can recover up to $5,000 that was put into a fund for roof improvements by the HOA. So the HOA creates a fund, and it was, up to $5,000 for roof improvements could be added to the selling price at the time of sale. What this local law does is two things. One, it increases the amount from $5,000 to $750, just recognizing that prices have changed over time and roof prices, and more needs to be collected in order to cover some of the cost. And also, it expands the definition not just to include roofs, but other exterior improvements, which is what's done now in the fund that's been created. So in talking to the Bellefair HOA and the residents, that fund isn't specific to roofs, it's for other exterior improvements, so this gets it more to be consistent with the HOA definition as well. So what this does is says not just roofs, but external capital improvements related to the unit, including, but not limited to, the repair and replacement of roofs, gutters, siding, windows, or any similar exterior facets of the structure. So what that does is gives a little more flexibility that when funds are created for exterior improvements for the Bellefair middle-income units, that a portion of those prices, or up to a certain maximum amount, can be added to the selling price with the approval of our not-for-profit agency that reviews it. So that's what's up for consideration by the board.
Thank you, Chris. And as this is a public hearing, I would ask if there's any members of the public that would like to address this. Please,
Sure.
if you
Well,
could come,
please.
if you
Yeah.
could come up to the
Because
podium.
it's
and
captured
just-
through the system, that's why.
Yeah, and just state your name and address.
Thank you. Chris Dunnigan, 6 High Point Circle, Bellefair.
Just bring the mic towards you so they can hear it, because it gets recorded on the video.
I just want, sorry.
Take your
All
time.
right,
It's-
no, please, take your time.
I actually have a scenario, and maybe get me started here if I just ask the question. Thank you, Greg, for all the help you offered. Thank you for taking this up and doing what you're doing. This all basically just started because we had people moving and we had basically a forced savings into a reserve account that was going to be put towards roof replacements. So as these people were moving, they were paying into this fund, and I believe rightfully so, as they went to sell, they put this savings into a reserve account. When they wanted to sell, they wanted to add it to the price of the house. It was just like a bank account. You take the bank account with you. So that's how this all started. In reading the code and everything, and then we got into the $30,000 portion of the code that you have the housing organization come in and take a look, and of course everything is done over time. And my question is just not real numbers, but say we put $6,000 into a reserve account. The association has decided we're going to get a new roof. New roof is going to be $10,000. The association decides they're only going to use $3,000 of our savings in the reserve account to go towards the new roof. So that means we'll come up with $7,000. Now, if someone goes to sell, obviously $3,000 towards the $10,000 is spent, and $7,000 is spent, but we're still left with $3,000 sitting in a bank account that we paid into, which, in my opinion, should go right to the roof. So now I don't have to pay $7,000. I'd pay $4,000, right? Under this, money that's left in the reserve account, is that also refundable?
Yes, so if whatever that homeowner has put into that fund, that would be eligible to be returned to them as an addition to the selling price. So what that allows is, say for sake of argument, it was $5,000. So you put $5,000 into the special fund. And if the house was for sale for $300,000, just to make it easy, and it was $5,000, there would be $305. Up to $305, as long as everything was, the Housing Action Council signs off. But that's the theory. And the reason is you put the funds in, the funds would still stay in the HOA fund, and the next homeowner would enjoy the benefit of having the funds that homeowner put in for the roof replacement, for instance. So this way, the homeowner that's moving would get it back, and the next homeowner would enjoy the benefit of having that fund in place.
Now, it would be, if the roof is $10,000, it's still maxed out at 7.5?
Right now, the maximum is $5,000.
Right.
This is recommending going up to $7,500.
Right, so regardless of, anything over 7,500
This is on the homeowner,
got it.
or the HOA, whoever's doing it.
Now, one last question, please, is the documentation that the village will require for the seller, if you could really define that, because that was a big issue, and if there's something that the HOA needs to do to create so that when someone goes to sell, there's not a whole big, we have the documentation.
And that's what we ran into here is the local law that currently exists only references the roofs. And it also says roof repair, replacement of the roof, and it gives a little bit of flexibility, but it wasn't really clear that it was for other improvements. So this makes it crystal clear that it's for other types of improvements. The documentation, like in the past, what we said is for instance, in the past, we wanted something from the HOA, and they were very agreeable, they worked with us, but we wanted something that said, is this just for roofs, or is this for other improvements? And they said it's for other improvements as well, and I said, well, and the problem was our code doesn't reference that. So you had a mismatch in definitions. So what this does is marry them together so they're more similar.
So the documentation, which was basically a letter from the HOA.
Saying how much was in the account.
That we're not, if you're whole, in the association, if you've paid your dues on a regular basis, if you've paid all your money.
It's the special fund. It's money for the special fund, though, for this fund.
So you would not need any specific document?
What we need is proof of what funds the homeowner put in, whether that comes from the HOA, or if the homeowner gets the proof from the HOA, or has statements or receives statements from the HOA. Whatever it is, we need assurance that the homeowner put in a certain amount of funds for this type of a special improvement fund.
Chris, would you be able to recommend a specific thing that we, the HOA, could set up, like whether it be a special bank account, other than, right now we have a commingled reserve account for all the maintenance included homes. There are 3 groups. Do we need the money segregated? Do we have our management company set up a special line on our dues?
It's not that, we need to see that we need proof, the proof has to be provided, that there is a special fund that raised an assessment for this capital improvement.
So the proof is...
Where bank account it's in, or
There's a
whether it's
fund
in,
and-
wherever it is, it's not our business.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from the public? Please.
No. Tilt it to the side. Bring it to the side.
Grade Lane. Hi, thanks. And I was on the board prior to Chris, so I was directly involved in the previous sale that we're talking about. And I really tried to do what I could for the people who were moving, and they just kept getting stuck with bureaucratic red tape and HAC and what they could do. I just want to make sure that, thank you for all this, because this is fabulous. I just want to make sure as we go forward, because if we're in a time where people move, they get older, whatever, and I don't want anyone else to have to go through the problems that this family went through. So as Chris had said, as long as we have money in a dedicated reserve fund
For exterior improvements. In the spirit of this would be, yep.
Now, there was also a problem.
And it's not for
with
other
HAC.
parts of the Bellefair, it's
No, it's
specifically
just- yes,
for
it's
those
the
units.
The 88
The 12
MI
the
homes.
12,
So that's the question.
the 12
Do
middle-income
we need-
units.
Everybody puts in the same amount of money, all the maintenance included homes put in the same amount of money. And when this was set up in 2014, it was, for whatever reason, put in the same account. But all the money is accounted for.
That's,
If, homeowner number 2 wants to sell there, do they need to have the 12 homes separate? Or is it okay
we
to
need
say
to know just what was put in
by that
for an
person?
improvement
So
for those
homeowner-
homes. Yep,
Homeowner number 2 put in this amount of money towards the roof.
correct.
Or towards the
Or
exterior.
siding, or windows, or,
Now,
yep.
when you said that they get that money back, from whom?
They get it from the purchaser as an additional amount of up to 5, right now 5, maybe up to 75,
Okay.
as an additional selling price.
Okay.
It gets added onto the selling price of the home.
So this will be a
And
document
the purchaser
that-
pays it, and then they get they're going to have the money now
So
sitting in the account.
there won't be a problem with HAC saying, oh, no, this isn't the right information, this isn't the right documentation?
No, that's why we are doing this, is
This
all
is
in
gonna solve
concert.
all
So
those
this has been done with the HOA, with HAC, Housing Action Council,
Right.
and with the Village Council, so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from the public? Any comments from the board? All right, can I have a motion second to close the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Chris, can we move into the resolution?
Sure. And when I said with the HOA, we were working with the treasurer in the HOA. Yeah. Considering approving a proposed local law modifying the village code regarding major capital improvements in the Bellefair middle-income units. Whereas the village code regulates the 12 middle-income units at Bellefair, and whereas the code allows for a credit for major improvements against the resale price of up to $5,000 paid by the selling owner toward any fund or special assessment established by the Bellefair HOA for the repair and replacement of roofs, and whereas as a result of inflation and increasing costs, the proposed local law increases the credit from up to $5,000 to up to $7,500, and also expands the definition of major capital improvements to include exterior capital improvements related to the unit, including but not limited to the repair and replacement of roofs, gutters, siding, windows, or any similar exterior facet, which more closely reflects the purpose of the funds collected by the Bellefair HOA, And whereas a public hearing was held in this local law on September 10th, at which time all persons interested in speaking had an opportunity to be heard. And whereas the proposed action is an unlisted action pursuant to seeker, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rybrook, in accordance with seeker and upon review of the short environmental assessment form and all other materials prepared, hereby adopts the attached negative deck for the proposed local law, finding the adoption of the local law will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, and be it further resolved that the Village of Rybrook Board of Trustees adopts the proposed local law, modifying the village code regarding major capital improvements in the Bellefair middle-income units.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion second, please?
Moved?
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board?
No, thank you so much for working so hard on it. It's not easy.
Yeah, and I think this was overdue and clearly something that's going to help the residents of Rybrook in those units.
Makes it go smoother.
And
too.
makes it go smoother, and something that, it's always, when something like this comes up, a lot of times, it's something that was just overlooked or, not really considered at the time, and that's why a review of the code is necessary from time to time, and we're glad to be able to help in this way.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Glad we were able to get that done. Resolution number 2, considering approving the use of village streets on Candy Lane for a block party on September 29th, 2024.
Whereas the village has received a letter dated August 30th, 2024, from D. Cattell Fisher of 9 Candy Lane and Shana Koransky of 5 Candy Lane, requesting the use of village streets for a block party to be held on Saturday, September 29th, from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And whereas the board is supportive of this proposed block party, now therefore be resolved that the use of Candy Lane on Saturday, September 29th, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., the proposed block party on Candy Lane event is hereby approved with the terms to be established by the Rybrook Police Department.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion second, please?
So moved?
Second.
I'm assuming you're here for that. If you'd like, do you want to come up and say anything, or no? You don't have to.
Oh, it is? Sunday?
Oh, you're right, the 29th is
Sunday.
a Sunday.
Thank you.
That is correct.
Oops.
Thank you.
And one correction to the, so,
We won't
do I
pass
need
it.
a motion second as amended?
As amended. No, as amended.
As amended.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. As someone who runs a block party myself, I wish you the best of luck.
Have
and
fun.
I hope it all goes well. Yeah. Resolution number 3, consider a request for the use of village streets by the Blind Brook School District for a Halloween parade on October 31st, 2023.
Resolved that the use of Rocking Horse Trail, Dorchester Drive, and Sleepy Hollow on Monday, October 31st, 2024, from 9 to 10 a.m. for the 3rd annual Blind Brook School District K through 2 Halloween Parade event is hereby approved with the terms to be established by the Police Department.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion second, please?
Motion.
Second.
I have to say that, having had kids participate in this, only one though, because the other one was doing the Halloween when they used to do it back on the basketball courts pre-COVID, and then they moved it out to the streets during COVID so that there was more separation and everyone was farther apart. And it's really cute, and I think, it's gone off without a hitch. Even I even feel like cars can still access where they need to access, and it's. I've gone every year just to see also, and it's really a nice thing that's able to occur.
You're
So
just going for the free candy, aren't
no, that's why I go trick or
you?
treating.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 4, considering a renewal of a lease agreement with Pitney Bowey, Inc. for mailing machine and meter.
Whereas the Village of Rybrook currently has a lease agreement with Pitney Bowey for a mailing machine and meter that is set to expire, and whereas the Village of Rybrook has received a proposed agreement from Pitney Bowey at a cost of $2,089.68 per month for a period of 5 years, And whereas the village desires to enter into another lease agreement for a mailing machine and meter, now therefore be resolved that the Village of Rybrook hereby renews a lease agreement with Pitney Bowey, Inc. for a mailing machine and meter for a cost of $2,089.68 per month for a period of 5 years, subject to modification by council. And be it further resolved that the mayor and administrator are authorized to sign and deliver any and all documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of this resolution.
Thank you. Just one quick question, because.
Is that a year or is that a month?
Right, in the backup materials,
Look.
it says per
Let me look.
Annum?
year.
It sounds more right, but I just wanted to double
Then
check it.
in the,
It says per month, yeah.
Yeah.
and I forgot to look at the agreement
Look,
to see
no, I'm
what
looking
the
right now.
agreement says.
Per month for a period of 5 years.
Quarterly, it's billed quarterly at 522.
So it's
It's
per
2,000 a
year.
year,
Gotta be a year.
2,200 a year.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I was
2,200 a
very,
year.
I was saying
60 months.
2,000 bucks for,
I was thinking the same thing when I was reading that, to be honest. But
so,
per year, we'll modify per
per-
year.
per year.
As amended.
Yeah, per year as amended.
Okay.
We have a motion in a second?
Can I have a motion and
Motion.
second, please?
Second.
All right.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 5, considering an amendment to Article 18A of the General Municipal Law Consent Agreement and Westchester Airport Associates LP.
Whereas Westchester Airport Associates, or otherwise known as WAA, and Westchester County entered into a ground lease to allow WAA to construct and operate a parking facility at the county airport for a 30-year term, and whereas Rybrook currently has a 30-year consent agreement with WAA, and whereas under general municipal law, the consent agreement, the Village of Rybrook receives $40,000 a year as an impact fee to offset effects of the parking facility on the sewer, water source, police, fire, and other services provided by Rybrook. And whereas the current agreement expires on December 31st, 2024, and whereas the county and WAA have extended the ground lease authorizing WAA to continue operating the parking facility at the airport through December 31st, 2026, and whereas the other agreement between the Village of Rybrook and WAA we've negotiated an agreement to continue payments during the extension period of the ground lease through December 31st, 2026, an impact fee to offset the effects of parking on the water, sewer, police, fire, and other services provided by the village. And whereas under the proposed agreement, the Village of Rybrook and WAA, the payment amounts and schedules are as follows. From August 1st, for the year forward, it's $45,000, so it goes from 40 to 45. From August 1st, 2025, for the year forward, it's $51,000. And then for the period of August 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, it's $24,166.65, which would be an equivalent of $58,000 if it was annual. And whereas the Village of Rybrook seeks to accept an amendment to the General Municipal Law Consent Agreement with WAA to authorize continued payments, and now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the proposed amendment to the General Municipal Law Consent Agreement between Rybrook and WAA, subject to modification by council, and be it further resolved, the mayor and administrator are authorized to sign any documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of this resolution.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved. Second.
We certainly, I mean, Chris, do you want to give any back? I mean, I think it's
Sure,
pretty.
yeah, we had a 30-year agreement with the county airport, with Westchester Airport Associates, who operates the garage at the Westchester County Airport. The lease was created, it was built by Westchester County, and they had a separate lease with the county at the airport. So because we provide services for this privately run facility on county property, there's been a payment made of $40,000 a year for the last 30 years. The county has extended that agreement through December 31st of 2026. So likewise, we should continue to receive payments through that time, and then we'll decide what to do from that period forward. So with the assistance of Ralph DeMarco, who's doing a great job working with the county, with WAA and county, and working with the village board, we've reached acceptable terms. And this is basically doing the extension agreement with increasing fees for the balance of the extension agreement term.
Thank you, Chris, and we certainly appreciate all of the effort that went into this, the county including us on this. I mean, certainly we know how much service, how we provide services to the airport and to the garage, which is within Rybrook. So, very glad that we're able to extend this portion of the agreement and, and get this as an extension through December 31st, and hopefully, and I'm sure before we reach that date, we'll have a new agreement and a longer-term agreement in place that the county is negotiating with WAA, and hopefully Rybrook continues to see compensation for the services we provide. Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Do we have a motion second? Yeah. I think so.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 6, considering an approval of a temporary license agreement for emergency storm sewer line repairs at 40 Hillendale Road.
Okay, so maybe if you don't mind, I'll summarize.
Yeah, can you
The
summarize
next,
all three?
yeah, so the next we'll read just the resolved on each one, but I'll summarize it for each. So the next 3 resolutions are similar in nature. We are doing work over on Hillendale near 40, 42, and 44 Hillendale Road, and that work's going to be starting, if it's authorized tonight, tomorrow, right, Michael? It's to be starting. And this is to do some repairs, emergency storm sewer line repairs. So we're going to be going through and repairing the line that's in and around those properties. In order to do that, we needed some temporary license agreements for access and provide coverage, insurance, everything else. So that's what the nature is. So we have signed agreements from each of those homeowners. Thank you to Michael, thank you to Ralph DeMarco, and for making all that happen. It's actually pretty complicated what they're going through and the work that has to get done so that we can not have damage from stormwater that goes through those areas. We can make those repairs. So the first one is for 40 Hillendale Road, and I'll move to the resolved. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees, upon consideration of the circumstances, hereby authorizes the Village of Rybrook to enter into a temporary license agreement with Christopher Lee and Anna Ma to allow the village to excavate and repair a sanitary sewage pipe located within the premise of 40 Hillendale Road. And be it further resolved, the mayor and administrator are authorized to execute the license agreement and deliver the necessary documents to accomplish the purposes of the resolution. It's not sanitary, it's storm.
I didn't.
Storm. With that
Is this-
correction. It's storm, yeah.
Stormwater.
It's a storm pipe, yep.
Yeah, okay.
We'll make that correction.
Right, because I think it's in, and I was just looking, it is in all 3.
Yep, we'll do that correction.
Okay. All right. Can I have a motion second, please?
So- Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? May as well just, and any questions or comments over any of the 3? So we'll move quickly through all 3, just the resolve clause.
I was going to say, I take it that the only difference are the names of the owners.
Yeah, I think it's the number, the
Yeah.
house number and the names of the
Any
owners.
other difference?
No.
Oh, and some restoration, right? Yeah.
Well,
How it
some-
gets restored. Any special circumstances, right?
Like some's got more bushes or whatever, shrubbery, yeah, right. Basically, it's all the same.
All right. So, yes, I'm 40.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 7, considering an approval of a temporary license agreement for emergency storm line repairs at 42 Hillendale Road.
Okay, this is the same resolution, I know, and now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes Rybrook to enter into a temporary license agreement with Merle Minks and Krishna Minks to allow the village to excavate and repair storm pipes located within the premise of 42 Hillendale Road, and that the mayor and administrator are authorized to execute the license agreement and deliver all necessary documents to accomplish its purpose.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
And again, this would be on 42, I think, right?
Yep.
All right.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Thank you. Yes, sorry. Yes, I forgot to say that. Thank you. Moving on, the final resolution for 44 Hillendale Road.
Okay, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes Rybrook to enter into a temporary license agreement with Rayo Ashawa and Mayoko Ashawa to allow the village to excavate and repair a storm pipe located within the premise of 40 Hillendale Road, and the mayor and administrator are authorized to enter into the license agreement and deliver the documents to accomplish its purposes.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 9, and thank you for everyone who's putting in the work for all of this. I know it's, necessary repairs that need to happen in short order. And we're thankful to Michael and everyone else involved for getting this done, and Ralph for helping facilitate the ability to get this done, which, is necessary. When these things come up, it has to happen, so. All right, I lost track of numbers. Resolution number 9, considering fiscal year 23-24 general fund modification.
Now therefore be resolved that fiscal year 23-24 general fund be modified to reflect a budget adjustment to record the American Rescue Plan Act or the ARPA funds received in fiscal year 23-24 and transferred to the capital fund as follows, and that's increasing our federal aid account by $729,837.86 and increasing our appropriations in our interfund transfer account of the same amount.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
Motion.
Second.
I know this is very much housekeeping, but we're very thankful to have gotten these funds.
And spending the funds.
And we're glad to be spending the funds as well.
On the next resolution, looks like.
All right. Any questions or comments?
We got bids for this? That's my question.
These aren't bids, these are,
This is just a
this
transfer
is
of funds.
allocating, we already did this as part of the budget process.
Got it.
When we did, we've done the work. Most of it was sewer work. We used ARPA funds for, some of it's sewer work. Other ARPA funds, what did we use it for? Some of it we used for.
I'm looking ahead, don't
Some of it
worry.
was employee incentives during COVID
The
time.
Employee incentives.
Whole list of different things which we had to report out.
Radios.
Radios, that's right.
Yeah.
The MTA the MTA system, that was the big purchase there.
Got
Yeah.
it. No
We're
worries.
very thankful
So,
to
yes.
receive these funds, and I think we're going to be missing these funds because a lot of these benefits are running.
They're done, yeah.
Are done, so it's unfortunate, but some of the state funds are
Was
going
nice
away
at the
as well,
time.
so It was very nice at the time. All right, resolution number 10.
Okay,
Oh, we didn't call the roll? I'm just trying to move things along here. You guys are slowing me up. No, I'm just kidding.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. See, what did we need that for? All right, resolution number 10, considering approval of an application for a CDBG grant, I don't know why we say that, for CDBG, it's just all it is. This grant's in the word, to the Westchester County Consortium of Communities for retaining wall improvements at the AJP Center.
CDBG is redundant, right?
It is. Well, you can't say
CDBG grant is redundant.
Yes, exactly.
So the next 3 resolutions, we seem to be doing things in threes. The next 3 resolutions are giving 3 separate approvals and of each one of the projects. The county wants us to do it individually and not as a group. So they're also in the priority that we've laid out, the staff has recommended, the top priority being the AJP retaining wall. This is all for the next round of funding for the community development block grants. So the top priority would be the retaining wall, which is as you enter the senior center to the left. The next one after that is replacing our generator. And then the third one would be replacing the fence in the rear that's in the rear against 287. Okay? The county has a maximum contribution amount of $200,000 with the balance that would have to either come from the village or a non-federal source. Okay? So let's go through the first.
Chris, I was just saying to the mayor, I cannot believe how much that wall costs.
It's a very high number.
Yes, that's exactly
Yeah.
what I
But
just said.
we don't want to fall short in a bid, and now we have to make up the difference and do all that. So we would rather give a high number and come in under. When we bid it, we'll know what it's going to be.
Wow, okay, that's where I was saying to
Yeah.
get a bid. I'm
But you
sorry, I
don't
was
want to,
reading ahead.
you don't want to do that, which this is just
No
applying
bids
for a
yet.
grant in the
We're
next
applying for
round.
grants.
Got it.
And we'll always be very conservative in those numbers. So, and the other thing that's very awkward, and I don't want to delay the meeting any longer for you guys, but what's awkward is the county will, in the application, we're not allowed to go to vendors to get price estimates, which makes it very difficult.
We can.
And then,
But then they can't
but then they
bid on-
can't bid on the work. So
project.
no vendor's going to do that.
So it's backwards.
Yeah, so that is a rule that they have, that they're, instituting.
Okay.
And so we have to go to other places to get price quotes from vendors that aren't doing it in the day-to-day. So we have to go to other places to do that and get a written price quote. So it's very awkward. But, so again, you want to be be conservative number, and it gets adjusted accordingly at the time that the bids are awarded and the funds are expended. So whereas the Village of Rybrook, you want me to just go to the resolve clauses?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll give you the amounts too, just for the public, so.
Yeah,
the-
it's fine. These are short resolutions, so we can read through them if,
Sure, okay, I'll read them through then. So we've entered into an agreement with the county for the CDBG program. We've previously applied for a lot of projects, I'm summarizing. We want to apply for projects at AJP, our senior center, which qualifies under the program because seniors are considered low, moderate income on a national scale. That's what makes them qualify. And whereas in fiscal year 2026, there's a senior wall rehab project that's recommended in the amount of $647,400. That's project one of three. And the village is requesting that $200,000 come up, be provided through the CDBG program, with $447,400 to be paid by the village or other sources. And whereas the proposed program was introduced in September, application was introduced on September 10th, 2024, and whereas the Board of Trustees held a public hearing on the applications on August 27th, anyone had the opportunity to be heard, and that public hearing was closed on the same day. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rybrook authorizes submission of the project funding application through the County Consortium of Communities.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
Motion.
Second?
Any questions or comments? Again, this is applying for a grant.
No, great. Hope we get it.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 11, considering approval of a CDBG application to the Westchester County Consortium of Communities for a new generator at AJP. And this one, Chris, maybe we can just go through the numbers.
Even
I don't
shorter,
think
yep.
we need the
This is
full-
for a generator replacement at a total cost of $249,623, and this is project 2 of 3. And in this case, the most you can ask for is 50% of the funding, up to $200,000, so we're requesting that $124,811.50, with the village paying the other half, and that the application was introduced in September 10th, the hearing, and there was a public hearing, the hearing was closed, and then now the Board of Trustees authorizes submission of the proposed project for CDBG funding through the County Consortium of Communities.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second?
So moved. Second.
And just to be clear, because it kind of skipped through that, the public hearing was open and closed on August 27th. All right, questions, comments?
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you. Resolution, what are we up to? Now, resolution number 12, considering a CDBG application for fence improvements to AJP Center.
Okay, this is for a fence replacement, total cost $76,800. This is project 3 of 3, with 50% of the funding coming from the county and 50% from the village. Notice of the public hearing was the public hearing was held on August 27th, you said, right?
August 27th.
Yep, at which time, and then it was, anyone could speak on the application. That hearing was closed. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Rye Brook authorizes the submission of the proposed project for CDBG funding through the Westchester County Consortium of Communities.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Same thing, grant application.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 13, considering a village contribution to the Columbus Day Celebration Committee for the annual parade.
Whereas the Village of Rye Brook Board of Trustees supports the annual Columbus Day Parade sponsored by the Columbus Day Celebration Committee, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves $800 to be provided to the Columbus Day Celebration Committee for the annual Columbus Day Parade on Sunday, October 13th, 2024, with a rain date of October 20th.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have marched in this in the past. I already know I will be doing something else that day, so unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to
What
be
is
able to
the
make
date?
that one. Sunday, October 13th, with a rain date of the 20th.
October 30th?
13th.
13th, thank you. So, of course, Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 14, considering reallocation budget amendment and closing of capital project account in fiscal year 24-25.
Okay, now therefore be resolved that the following transfer be approved between capital projects. So this is from the police document scanning services to scanning police records. So it's just moving it from one fund, from 1 year to the next year, so it's in one account in the amount of $34,093.11. And be it further resolved that the following fiscal year capital project budgets be amended and reduced to reflect no grant application by the archives through the state. This is for scanning services, so we're decreasing the appropriations for scanning police records by $32,250 and decreasing revenues from state aid to $32,250 that's because we did not get a grant that we applied for. And be it further resolved that the scanning police records capital project be restated as follows. So it's basically going from an adopted budget of $64,500 to a modified budget of $66,343.11. And be it further resolved that the following capital fund project with zero remaining balance be closed and removed from the length schedule, and that's the 2023-24 police document scanning, where you just transferred all the money out of.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
Motion.
Second.
I have to say, when I came into Village Hall recently, I had to let the auditors in, and I think they're always really happy when they come visit Rye Brook. because
Hopefully
they
it's
know
straightforward.
They know it's going to be an easy one because of all of this work that Trish and her staff put in keeping these books straight.
Absolutely
So
right.
we really, again,
that.
appreciate this.
Absolutely. That's what keeps our accounts and our books very accurate.
Yes. Any other questions or comments?
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Fisher?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Morlino,
Yes.
and Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 15, considering approval of the minutes for the meeting held on March 12th, 2024.
Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the minutes for the meeting held on March 12th, 2024.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved. Second.
I only have one actually quick amendment because it's on the date on the top right of this shows August 27th.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, we cut and paste these types of resolutions.
So all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Administrator's report.
Okay, I can go right through that. We have several events coming up. Family Mini Golf, September 28th. Pumpkin Patch, which is always a lot of fun. That's on October 12th, where we go into Pine Ridge Park and people come out and can buy pumpkins. So it's always a nice event. Trunk and Treat is October 26th. Halloween, we're just confirming with the Westchester Humane Society to figure out which dates, but that'll also be in October, so that's another fun event. So, we had a very busy summer, particularly, in July, and then continuing into August, there was, so many really nice events, a couple rain occurrences, but other than that, we think it was a really nice summer of events. So we had, from Ice Cream Fridays to music events that Trustee Epstein coordinated, to movies in the park and other events that we held. So it was a lot of fun summer, but then fall and then winter has a lot of nice ones for the community as well. So we're excited. The October events are always a lot of fun, so we're looking forward to that. We also had the opportunity yesterday, which we do once a year, is the village staff takes volunteers their time and goes up to the Cerebral Palsy of Westchester, and we go up there and we provide ice cream for the staff there for their Direct Support Professionals Week, which just starts. So it's highlighting the people that work at Cerebral Palsy, and they do such a great job. It's kind of such a nice place in the community to have in the community, and it's a nice time to kind of recognize those employees and say, thank you for being in Rye Brook and appreciating, and they're very appreciative of the village coming out to do that. And Greg's going to give, a half-hour report on the cleanup event? So he just kind of wants to pitch the cleanup event real quick. Real quick.
Yes, thank you. So this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're going to be having our annual cleanup. We always do that at Bowman Avenue. So we'll have those roads shut down. So I've already coordinated with our police department regarding that. And 800 Westchester, which RPW Group, which owns 800 Westchester, is kindly allowing us to divert traffic through the private road. I'm sure all of us, including myself, have used it, but we all should keep in mind it is a private road. It is not public. But yes, for anybody who wants to come on, of course, and volunteer, because that's a road that typically tends to get a lot of garbage, particularly for students who need service hours. It's a town-sponsored event, but again, Rye Brook would like to participate, and I'm going to be the captain of that Rye Brook site over in Bowman Avenue. So if anyone definitely wants to come down, the more volunteers we have, the quicker this will go by. Last year, even though it rained, we were able to get it done within an hour because we had a good number of volunteers. And of course, I'll be working with our DPW staff for proper tools and other arrangements as well.
And they do a great job as well. They certainly do. Public Works and Parks, from all the events that we did to events like that one coming up, they do a great job. But also want to say thank you to Greg Rivera, who goes out and gives up his time on a Saturday to go out and work with that and clean up, and then also works very closely with the Sustainability Committee for the events that they do. So thank you to Greg and for coordinating that and leading those efforts.
Yeah, so that's it for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other comments from the public? Seeing none. The next meetings of the Board of Trustees will be September 24th. Sorry, I need to get back down to this.
October 8th.
Thank you, and October 8th. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
15